All right.
Well, as long as we're recording.
So I wanted to go ahead and welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get started on the June 3rd meeting. We're going to call it to order, and we've begun the recording. Tonight, we've got two great speakers, one from the SPU program, Trees for Neighborhoods, and one from Sound Transit regarding the Chinatown ID light rail station. So thanks everyone for joining us. Um, Bria, how are you doing? Are you all set up to present?
Yes, I am. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Let's see here. I think I probably have to share permissions, or are you able to share your screen?
Let's find out. Okay, I just sent a share request.
Amazing. Okay, please welcome Bria from Seattle Public Utilities on behalf of the Trees for Neighborhoods program.
Make this bigger.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and share that. And do a few adjustments so you guys can hit present. Okay, so just make sure before I get started that let me switch screens. This happens sometimes. Display settings. There we go. I get a
Looks
preview.
great from our
Okay, perfect. You can see everything.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being a part of your meeting tonight. And I will try to be mindful of my time. I've got a little timer going. But I'm with Trees for Neighborhoods, as Whit said. Thank you so much. Um, and my name is Bria Blitch. I'm with the Trees for Neighborhoods planting program. I'm the planting program here, and I'm just going to dive right in. However, so Trees for Neighborhoods is our Seattle residential tree planting program. We've been here since 2009, and we will distribute 1,000 trees a year to residents all over the city with over 15,400 trees at homes, schools, businesses, places of worship, and along streets. So folks can apply for yard trees or street trees through our program. And we offer more than just free trees. So just kind of as a snapshot of our program, when you apply for trees, we will deliver them to your home. You can apply for up to 3 trees a year per address with a lifetime maximum of 6 trees per property. With every tree that you apply for and get awarded, you'll receive a watering bag and mulch for every tree. We're here to help you choose the best tree for your home and your planting space. We help you apply for street tree permits. So if you apply for a street tree and you're awarded a street tree, I will submit all of the paperwork and all of the things for you on your behalf. And then we'll have an S.Dot arborist come out. So we provide a lot of support in getting that taken care of for you. And you'll hear from me about all the ins and outs as that happens if you are one of the folks that apply for a street tree. We offer training on how to plant and care for your tree as part of the program. And we offer summer watering reminders and free workshops, mulch giveaways. You know, once you receive your tree, we are around. I send water reminders and biweekly emails for the next 5 years. So if you happen to move, just feel free to let me know. But we're around for quite some time, and we're always here to help answer questions past once you receive your tree. I'm here today, more specifically, to talk about our partnership with Seattle City Light that we're very excited about for the Chief South Trail. So you can kind of see, usually I can kind of get a little thing going here. Oh, yes. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the Chief South Trail as a frequent walker or recreation here. But this is a transmission corridor. You can see the transmission lines up at the top here, as well as other power line utilities. Because of that, we need to be mindful of what we're planting. We just want to have a safe clearance. Um, so that our trees aren't growing into those zones or cause conflict with our utilities. So, in partnership with Seattle City Light, we have power line approved trees, and these are trees that will not grow taller than 30 feet so that we can still have shade and all the benefits of a tree without worry that those trees are going to grow into our power lines. This is a very exciting opportunity. Normally, what we'll do is we'll open our application every year in July. So this year, there'll be some information later. But we'll open it from July 1st to July 30th. Since these are power line approved trees and they are our most popular trees, and we want to make sure that folks who need them receive them, our application has opened early for folks who live back along this back trail, so that in backyards you can plant power line approved trees to help shade your home, but also help shade the trail. You can apply for up to 3 of these. I'll send a copy of the PowerPoint and some outreach material that if you are some of these homes, will start maybe appearing pretty soon with more information about the specific tree species. But all of these links will be available to you if you are interested in checking out the application. There is the direct link here on this page. However, we're really excited to be able to do this and be able to offer our application a bit early. And we have some really great trees lined up for this as well. But in general, if this is something that interests you, just for eligibility for the program, you are eligible if you are a property owner or a renter. We definitely encourage renters to apply. We just ask that you get permission from the property owner, talk with them and let them know, and that the home is within the Seattle city limits. We ask that you attend a planting and care workshop with us in September. And at this workshop, we're going to teach you how to care for your tree, how to properly plant your tree, the best time of year, a lot of great support and information for you as we're getting ready to do our tree deliveries. And you'll get your tree, kind of what to do next as part of the program. And then it's important to note too that we are here to support you for watering reminders, for education. We have pruning webinars and pruning workshops, mulch giveaways. We host all sorts of things over the years that you'll be invited to. However, these trees will be privately maintained. So that means that ultimately the watering, pruning, raking of those leaves, mulching, things like this will be responsibility of you, the person who lives there and owns that tree. We ask that you agree to plant the tree before the end of planting season at the address that's on the application. This is especially true for street trees because for 2 years post-planting, we will come around and do a summer health evaluation for those trees, and we'll leave a little door card to say how your tree is doing, if it needs mulch, things like this. So we definitely want those trees planted, the address on your application. And then with street trees, we ask that they are planted in approved and marked locations. We make sure to check for overhead and underground utilities. So if you've been approved for a spot, it's a really thoughtful and intentional process to make sure there's clearance from your driveway, property lines, utilities, all sorts of things that our SDOT arborists are thinking about when approving the street tree permits. I'm here to answer all of your questions. We just want to make sure that those are just some things that folks understand when they want to apply. And I know this page seems like a lot. This is all clickable and you're going to receive it. But I just wanted to make note that we are so excited to have our partnership with Seattle City Light to open our application early for those power line approved trees if you live behind and your property butts up against the Chief South Trail. However, if maybe you don't live along the trail and you're like, gosh, this program sounds interesting, our application for everyone is going to open on Tuesday, July 1st, and it's going to run through the whole month through July 30th. And then we'll close it and you'll get a status update with what's going on with all the trees. But I wanted to leave this here in case maybe you live outside of the early application locations to see everything that we're going to be offering this year. We have our Powerline approved trees. So that's trees that grow no more than 30 feet at maturity. We have our street trees, which could be for street or yards. Usually our deciduous trees that are going to get large, produce a lot of shade, but those leaves will fall come winter and have beautiful shades of color in the fall. And then our yard trees, which are our conifers, that get much larger and just need some more space. So not to say they can't be approved for a planting strip, but that would need to be a very large planting strip of about 12 feet or wider. So I just wanted to leave this here just in case you don't live along the trail and had some interest. But if you do live along the trail, we would love for you to apply. We can answer your questions. We'll be out doing some outreach, so you'll probably see us in the neighborhood and around pretty soon to help get the word out and get to talk to folks about some of the options that they have to plant along that back trail. So I want to be mindful of everyone's time. So that's kind of everything I put together. I apologize if this was a little quick. I know I only had a few minutes. However, like I said, this PowerPoint will be available, so you can click into all these links. You can email me at treesforneighborhoods@seattle.gov. I'm here to answer any of your questions for our planting program. And if you just happen to have general tree questions, maybe that don't pertain to this program in this presentation, you can email us at treesforseattle@seattle.gov, and we will make sure to get you to whoever you need to be in touch with to answer your questions for things maybe outside of this program. But that is all I have today. I want to say thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Bria. It looks like we've got 5 minutes until the next speaker. So if there are any pressing questions, it looks like I have a hand up from Scott. Scott, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if the Chief Self Trail program applies specifically to where the trail is, or is it more specifically to like where the power lines run, like including past where the trail ends on both sides, or is it just like specifically where the path is?
Yeah, so we're doing this part of our program for all properties that butt up against the trail.
Mhm.
So we just need to be mindful of the transmission lines. That's why we're planting smaller trees back here. But it doesn't have to be along the pathway. You could have your home and plant these in your backyard. We're here to help with those too. So it's a little bit more for the private residence that goes along the trail. So
Mhm.
if your property lines up with the back of the trail, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah,
Okay, I was like, did I answer that right?
yeah, Scott. So
Thank you.
there's the trail is within, the transmission corridor. So
Mhm.
that entire easement or the corridor, the parcel, any property that abuts the corridor itself is eligible for that early window from June 2nd to June 30th for power line approved trees, with the hope being to promote power line appropriate trees within the backyards that are right adjacent to that corridor, if that helps clarify.
Yeah, I was just asking because I live like right next to the power lines, but just not where the trail is, like just past
Yeah.
where.
Essentially, if your fence line or property line abuts the larger space that the trail is within, then chances are you're eligible for it.
Sure. And then my other question was, what kind of outreach is being done for the people that are eligible for the early application?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So we've created a really nice insert that is going to have a QR code that goes directly to the application, as well as a QR code that just goes to all of our trees. Um, but the insert's going to have information about the trail itself and our partnership. And then the back is a detailed description of the tree options. So we have 5 powerline friendly trees that we're offering this year. So you'll get the tree's name, of course, the sunlight and shape of that tree, as well as a couple facts about the tree and photos. So it's kind of a quick screenshot of each option that you could receive. And then if you want more information, we have that QR code that you can go directly to our website, and I've put
Mhm.
a much more detailed amount of information there for you to see. But we'll be doing door-to-door outreach, as well as possibly some mailers. And then hopefully we'll be participating in some events throughout the month of June as well. But I will also send you folks a follow-up of the insert if you'd like to have the digital version of that ahead of time.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds
Thank you.
great. It looks like we've got a question in the chat from Emily. Emily asked, can you apply for trees in roundabouts, or is there an alternate city-funded planting program for roundabouts?
Yes, you can. So our street trees are any tree that's going to be in the public right of way, which can be easements, roundabouts. You may or may not have a sidewalk to have a planting strip, so your right of way might go slightly into the property. But if it is in the right of way, you can apply for it as a street tree as part of our program.
Super
Awesome.
quick
Thank you.
follow-up question to that. If it's in the right of way, I guess then it's owned by SDOT, and so I'm assuming SDOT
Mm.
is the owner, or do I need to figure out who the owner, like if I'm in an apartment building and there's a roundabout across from me, do I need to confirm who the owner of the roundabout is, if that makes sense?
Oh, I see, I see. Great question. So usually with those, we'll work with SDOT about it, but essentially you wouldn't need to chase down a parcel owner for that. Since it's in the right of way, SDOT regulates it. So you can apply for that tree there. You don't have to worry about finding folks for that. We will work with SDOT to make sure that that is approved location, and that would be an open space for us to plant a tree. I will say that if you apply for a street tree, these will also be privately maintained. So street trees are regulated by the Seattle Department of Transportation, which means you'll need a approved permit to plant. Over time, if you want to prune or remove the tree, those require permits. However, you own it. So SDOT won't be coming to water it for you. That would be your tree for watering and care, but they regulate it. Um, and I can definitely clarify if needed, but we just make sure that the permissions go through SDOT, since they are ultimately the one who manage that space, but you will own and maintain that tree as part of our program.
Great, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Bria. I apologize for your time being so short here today, but it's really helpful for us, and we look forward to the follow-up materials. We'll make sure to spread those with our community members. It looks like there's one additional question in the chat. I'm hoping, do you mind replying to that in the chat before you
Oh, of course.
take off?
Of course, of course. And thank you so much for having me today. I apologize again if it was really fast, but I really appreciate your time and being here and letting us be here.
Thanks again, Bria. Okay, so we're gonna move next to our 6:50. We've got a guest here from Sound Transit to report on the Chinatown ID light rail. No,
No,
sorry.
minor correction. So our neighbor, Chinatown International District, has been going through a lot of community engagement to see what would be the best thing for them as to where a light rail station is. One of the local groups there, Puget Sound Sage. Rata, are you online?
Yes, I
We'll be
am.
making that. Excellent. We'll be making that presentation as to the choices, and they want to be able to ask for our support. So if you can co-host Rata, he can put up his presentation.
Okay.
Thank you, Whit.
Thank you for the correction and welcome from Puget Sound. Puget Sage.
Puget Sound.
Puget.
Yeah, Puget Sound Sage.
Puget Sound Sage. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna make you make a co-host. Okay. You should now be a co-host and able to present.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Beacon Hill Community Council, for allowing me this chance to talk about something that's very important to our community out here at the Chinatown International District. Everyone see what's on the screen, the community teaching? I'm going to go real quick because usually this is about an hour truncated in 15 minutes, and I just want to hit the important points, or the points that are really important and things that you should know about. I think this is a chance for us to also have cross-community solidarity, which is something it's something that's needed between our two communities, Beacon Hill and the Chinatown International District, because there's a lot of history between us. That we're kin, basically. We're gonna be learning about Sound Transit 3, and everyone knows about the light rail. There's a light rail station in Beacon Hill. Let's skip up to this. Let's go to 3 important things to know about what this presentation is. It's what's happened so far. Sound Transit really wants to build a station location that connects the one line. It's the line that goes to Ballard, from Ballard to SeaTac Airport. And 3 important things to know is the previous public works project, the 4th and 5th Avenue option, and the legacy of resistance out down here. Previous projects that impacted the Chinatown International District, as many of y'all know, I-5 here demolished 350 family homes and small businesses, and also the Kingdom here, which was a rallying cry for activists and resistance against major projects that use the neighborhood as basically a staging area, transit hub. And we see this legacy of federal and city coming into our neighborhood and telling us what our options are. When Sound Transit first gave us the option, they gave us a 4th Avenue option, which is right here, and a 5th Avenue option. The community got together and demanded more, because we understand that these 2 options, building the station location here, especially 5th Avenue, would destroy the neighborhood. And we'll get into that. We'll get deeper into that why in the next couple slides. And also the 4th Avenue option here would also be destructive to the neighborhood. So we organized and we protested. We told them community hates 5th and we need something more than 4th Avenue. So Sound Transit Board gave us another option, which is the north and south option. We're quickly going to go through the different options. This is the 4th Avenue, this is the 5th Avenue, and this is the new option that was made available to our community. It's the Dearborn Street, or north and south, this one being the south preferred alternative. So we'll learn about the build options, how each will affect the neighborhood, and why the north and south preferred alternative is the better option. This is the 5th Avenue option. Everyone familiar with Hing Hay Park? Show hands, thumbs up, smile. Hing Hay Park. Yeah, the Hing Hay Park is the heartbeat of our neighborhood. It's where our uncles and aunties gather. They exercise in the morning. They play ping pong. 5th Avenue option would build directly across the street from Hing Hay Park. The build is going to be about 6 years of construction. That is 6 years of noise, traffic reroutes, traffic stops, shutting down certain streets. The folks that live around Hing Hay Park usually are low income or working class families, and they don't they are limited in the options of being able to move during this construction time. So everyone agrees that the 5th Avenue option is the most devastating to the neighborhood. We don't think the neighborhood can survive after 6 years of construction. This 4th Avenue construction, this is, so Hing Hay Park would be right over here. This is the Chinatown gate, so it's 1 street over. It's got, this is, some in the neighborhood likes this option. just because it would create a connection between a lot of the rails. However, this option is the longest build option, and it's the most unpredictable option. So there's about a 10 to 12 year construction option, 10 or 12 year construction plan, but it could be a longer build just because this is just because of the land that it's on. Remember that Chinatown gate I pointed out? It's right there. And the build option, the Fourth Avenue option, is right out here. Historically, our neighborhood was on the tide flats that came in, and this was all filled in by garbage and also the Jackson regrade. So if you can see, this is the Union Station, King Street Station, and this would be Union Station, King Street Station right there. Folks, it's going to be the most expensive build and also the longest build. Independent risk assessors that have been contracted by Sound Transit have deemed it an unreasonable build. The north and south option, preferred alternative, we get actually 2 stations, one across the street from the City Hall Park in King County Courthouse. Not a lot of information's known about what the build option for the north is, but there's a lot of information known about the south station, which is the Dearborn station. This is a Wajimaya. If you ever shop at that big Japanese store, this is their parking lot right here. It would be across the street from Wajimaya where that Shell station is. That's where the entrance of the station location is. It allows one thing that Fourth Avenue station doesn't allow, and it's equitable transit-oriented development, which is a law that was won by community to a Seattle ruling that says that if Sound Transit builds any station, any land that it buys up and any land that it uses for staging has to return to community for affordable housing. So we see this as a way to grow the neighborhood. We've done outreach with the elders of the neighborhood, with stakeholders in the community, and we want to use the ETOD, the Equitable Transit Oriented Development, in order to build more green space, more affordable housing, more social services. There is a divide between folks that are in the neighborhood and more urbanist folks who want to spend that longer time and more money to connect the lines. That's an urbanist view. It doesn't take in the history, the destruction that would be lost through this 10 to 12 year build, because not only do we not get anything back from the build out for the Fourth Avenue, but all that traffic that brings people in and out of Seattle on Fourth Avenue gets rerouted into our neighborhood. Our neighborhood would have to go through 8 years of traffic reroutes, and that's very destructive. A lot of our small businesses won't be able to last through that impact. The Dearborn build would do a cut and cover and have minimal traffic reroutes to the neighborhood. So not only is it one street over and outside of the neighborhood, the traffic reroute wouldn't be as horrendous as the Fourth Avenue build, and it allows us to, for once in a generation, grow our neighborhood through this major works project rather than shrink it, which every other option, every other historical public works project has done. And this is us organizing, the elders dreaming. What we would like you to do, if this is a fight you would like to participate in, would like to help advocate your neighbors down for your neighbors down here, sign the North and South petition, go to the Great for All in the CID website, email me for tours about the neighborhood. I can give you more contextual history than this 15-minute presentation allows for, but also you can join our great coalition, which stands for Growth, Resource Equity, and Accessible Transit, so that we can build for the next 100 years for the community down here in the Chinatown International District.
Rata,
Yes.
what is your ask of Beacon Hill Council?
Um, our ask of Beacon Hill Council is there are certain there are certain folks on that are that Sound Transit Board gets to vote on this. The board is made up of different regional electeds and appointed folks. If you have any connection, any relationship with any of these folks, we ask you to invite them on our tour, and we can explain to them why this neighborhood is so important and why maintaining it and also growing it while protecting it is beneficial to the greater Seattle as a whole.
Rata, I was in another meeting with you wherein you were asking for organizational support. Is there a letter that we sign on? Because our process is after your presentation, we're going to check in with our community members. Then we're going to talk about it at council. We could do a letter for you, or we could sign on to an existing letter.
There is a North and South petition, but I can draft a letter and send it all to y'all by your next community meeting. Would that be okay?
That
With the
would
next
be
council meeting?
great.
Okay.
Well, let's open up the floor to our
Questions.
questions, both our council as well as the ones online, because we're now at 7:14 and we're going to be ending the meeting at 7:15. So we have about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's Tanya, did I see your hand was up?
Hi, yes. And so I think we need more time to discuss this topic because I know like Beacon Hill line 1, which is Columbia City, Rainier Beach, like everyone along that line will get affected depending on where the station will be placed, whether it's north, south versus fourth, because I believe whichever option you will advocate for or wherever option they pick will affect whether you will have a 1-seat ride, a 2-seat ride, because the Ballard to West Seattle line is the one that will be going to Chinatown if it's north and south is how I understand it. But I think if we want to learn more, I know Gramai and a whole bunch of other public officials are doing, I guess, outreach to see what our thoughts are regarding the siting of the station. So we'd love to be able to invite maybe perhaps one of them or someone from Sound Transit to show us what the line looks like, so that we're better informed. But I know Rata did a really good job condensing this in such a short time, but I know there is just so much more, and this is a very complex issue, and the EIS is going to get released the next month or so, I believe, or 2 months. So we'd love to delve deeper in how this will directly affect Beacon Hill, because it will.
I think that's a good suggestion that we could actually probably take up an entire meeting just on this topic. So thank you for that. I see
Jerry.
I see a couple other hands up actually. So let's make sure we get the community members and then we'll go to council members. Brian, is your hand up?
Yeah, thank you. Just is there a way we can see those plans so we can, as Tanya was saying, have time to review them and really think about it? Because that was a lot to digest in a short amount of time. And although I'm grateful for that presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the plans are on.
So, hello, my name's Adam. I'm on the council. I actually work for Sound Transit. All the plans are online. You can access them online through soundtransit.org and go through their projects, and you can find all the project information that you could ever want. One other thing I wanted to note, talking about the demolition of the 4th Avenue viaduct, that already does need to get replaced in the near future. It's very old, as you mentioned in your presentation. So the cost of demolishing that, rebuilding it, if the 4th Avenue option were to be pursued, is sort of negated by the fact that it has to happen anyways.
Okay, let's see, I think that's all the community members. Scott, looks like your hand's been up for a bit. Do you want to take the floor?
Yeah, I guess my first question was just whether there was like a single map that showed like all of the different options so we could see them like all together. I was also wondering um for the tours, do you want us to organize that with you directly, or do you have like a schedule that you do, like if there's a next one that I could plan to attend?
You can organize with me directly. Yeah, you can organize me with directly. I give my neighborhood tour just for folks who are interested in learning more about the neighborhood and also Sound Transit.
Okay. And my last question was about you mentioned a lot about like you highlighted the traffic impacts of a lot of the different options. Um, has there been an analysis done on like the extent to which car traffic um, has a like direct contribution to the local economy and the small businesses? Because at least my experience going into the international district has always been by way of light rail. Um, so if I am like I think if I'm going to drive to international district, it's usually like I'm going to Awajimaya specifically. And maybe that's just my own experience. But if I'm like driving in international district, I'm generally like on my way through. So, um, is there like data on like the value of that like car traffic versus the value of the like the foot traffic that you get from the light rail?
I don't think there is that broken down data. Historically, though, our small businesses here really value the parking spots. So folks can jump in and out to pick up their to-go orders.
For sure. Um,
Okay, I think we are at time. I apologize for this being a brief introduction, but we'll make sure to set another meeting so we can focus more on this topic. I know it's really important and complex, and we'd like to hold space for everyone to ask questions and get the information they need. Maria, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Okay. What topic for your presentation?
Excuse me?
Can you take down your presentation?
Yes. One
Thank
moment.
you.
Sorry.
Hi, everybody. My apologies for I was at another event with our University of Washington Clean Energy Institute partners, and the event ended at 6. I got out at 6:10, and the gate for the parking area was closed. So my apologies for being late. Just wanted to kind of give context as to why we're having a short meeting today. We have a 45-minute meeting simply because we want to take the time so that we can have real conversation with our board. As you know, we elected Scott and Joseph at the last meeting. So what we will do is, given the interest and the questions around the Chinatown locating of the light rail station, we'll give a good chunk of time for that in the July meeting. And I think it's
July 1st.
It's going to be July 1st on a Tuesday. Is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be online.
And it's going to be online, everybody. So Tanya, thank you so much for bringing up those other thoughts. We'll do our best to get a panel going so that there's presentation from Sound Transit, and I believe there's alternative plans so folks can understand that. Amelia, I see your hand up, please. Go
Hi,
ahead.
thank you. I was hoping that if we're going to have a conversation about the ID location, if we could also probably and hopefully get an update from Sound Transit on the Graham Station surveys that they actually took in the summer, because I haven't seen feedback. We can get any feedback on the actual design, and as well as what are they going to do moving forward for the Graham Street station? Is it moving forward? I've heard a lot of grumbling. I don't know which way it's going, but it'd be really good to get some information because that is in our neighborhood and it will affect us as well too.
That's a good idea. So we can have a larger perspective on it. And of course, you know, one stop or two stop, that's important. What I was hearing from the presentation was more of the soft ground. But okay, we got a plan on that. Any other questions? We have 2 minutes before we shut down the community part of the meeting. And again, our apologies. Usually we would get everybody to introduce themselves. We're just on a truncated meeting time. Don't forget, the trees are available, I believe, starting July 1st until what's the deadline, July 30th?
Yeah, so if you're a property that abuts the transmission corridor where the Chief South Trail resides, the application window again is open from June 2nd to June 30th. On July 1st, it opens up to the greater public for any renters or property owners interested.
One question, a street tree means between the sidewalk and the street, right?
Actually, it can mean in roundabouts. It sounds like it's open, more
Okay.
open in definition.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's kind of exciting.
yeah.
Okay, everybody, going once, twice. You guys have the gift of time. It's lovely out there. It's quite sunny. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
It's recording.